Okay, so now we're going to go back to classification, and we're going to see this one, what the activation changes are. Because I think regularization is a little harder to explain, but activation we can see. So first, let's just find one where the activation changes. So this one it seemed to yesterday do a pretty good job of finding reasonably quickly with this is called hyperbolic tangent activation. It seems like a pretty crazy name, right?
Hyperbolic tangent.
But here it found it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. But now let's change the activation. Before I even tell you what it's doing, let's change it to linear. Let's see what happens here.
Looks like it's splitting it up into lines,
Good.
but it's not really getting anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so luckily I guessed right.
And the data loss went up right at the start.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of slowly going up.
Yeah, so this is, okay, what am I going to try to say here? So I haven't even told you what activation means yet.
Yeah.
But you can see that it's an important input. They've included it as an input, right?
Yeah.
And you can see if we change whatever this activation is, sometimes problems are easy to solve, and sometimes they become hard to solve. So we need to know something about what's going on with our data, or at least it helps to know something about what's going on with our data to choose the right kind of model. So let's switch over to maybe a model like this.
I think the easiest one for activation would probably be that one, but
Oh, okay, so what makes you think this would be one for a linear activation?
well, there's no they're pretty separate, these two clumps.
Uh-huh.
So you can slice it into lines without much overlap, I think.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting idea. Let's see. So your guess is that it looked like we had some lines cutting across here.
Yeah.
So let's see.
So, yeah.
So yeah, this is easier for linear.
All right, so this here is an example. Great.
Now they've got no test loss.
Yeah, so here's an example of where the linear worked really well. Let's see what hyperbolic tangent did on this one. Do you think it also works, or do you think
It should work.
It's
Does kind of the same thing, but
It's a little more data loss. Just no, right now it's the same.
Yeah, well, one interesting thing is it looks to me like this line separating them is different.
yeah, I think the last one sort of went from corner to corner.
Okay, let's see.
Well, not really corner to corner.
Not quite corner to corner, but definitely steeper.
Yeah.
Definitely steeper. Okay. And let's
Kind of spiral with linear.
let's see what happens when we try to approach the spiral with linear. Does it?
I don't think it's gonna do very well, but
Not really.
just kind of going down.
Yeah, it goes down, but it's still only getting 47% right. But this definitely doesn't look like a line. You can see the shadings in the lines,
Yeah.
right?
Our hyperbolic tangent sort of worked on this one.
Our hyperbolic tangent. Let's see. Let's go to hyperbolic tangent
It took a while, I think.
with these simple models. It doesn't seem to do
No.
that much better.
Oh, maybe we could find something that does work.
Okay.
Because
I
there were
remember
other
there was one, we made the really complicated one, and then the hyperbolic tangent kind of found it.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what this activation is, and then I'll tell you, then I'll let you guys play with it, and we'll return, and you can show me some examples that you found that work and don't work. So what this is doing, what the activation is doing, is telling the model, it tells the model how confident to be about predictions. So the hyperbolic tangent
Yeah,
confidence, oh look, the hyperbolic tangent is starting to
kind of.
change a little bit. The hyperbolic tangent activation, and I'm oversimplifying a little, basically says you're either not confident at all or you're super confident. Okay, so it's either +1 or -1, basically.
Yeah.
So you say, I've definitely got it right or I've definitely got it wrong. Linear activation is, sort of all grades to, from, -infinity would be I'm totally wrong. Plus infinity would be totally right, and then there's everything in between. So hyperbolic tangent sort of is either yes or no,
Yeah.
and linear is I'm a little bit more confident, a little bit less confident, and you can be more and more and more and more confident. Okay?
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so why don't you play with varying hyperbolic tangent and linear and just see what you find.
Okay.